Coming into winter, talking about how I approach different places and the sort of fishing that I would do. And in an honest answer, I generally target easier venues, places where I expect to catch. You don't want to be sitting out in the freezing cold when you've got absolutely no chance. And on some of the low stocked pits that I fish, whether they're small or large, unless you get amazing weather, real good sort of warm nighttime temperatures and daytime temperatures, at least in the double figures of 12 degrees, you haven't got a hope in hell. So in the winter I target shallower venues, not so weedy venues, and venues that have more fishing, often park lakes or little day ticket venues that have got a lot of fish where I stand a really good chance of catching. Tactics wise, it's venue dependent. We all know that maggots, using live bait can be incredibly successful on any venue. Can really draw that sort of response when nothing else will. But that is nuisance fish dependent, and if you've got roach and perch and tench and bream, then sometimes if there's too many of them, you're just recasting so much that you're just scaring all the fish out you swim and you've got no chance of catching a carp. So in that situation, using boilies, they're designed purposely to be a get around nuisance fish, and all big carp eat boilies. There isn't a big carp around that hasn't been caught on boilies, and generally pop up suit that sort of quick hit fishing that I do. If you go into a park lake, I'm using naked chod, for example, or something similar with a bright pop up, a few 10 mils around the top, something like cell that's pale in colour, got a proven all year round sort of catch rate. It doesn't matter if it's winter or summer, it works just as well at any time, but particularly in the cold weather, when other baits are losing their effectiveness, the oilier types, then yeah, sell 10 mils over a bright pop up, maybe some goo. The pineapple supreme has been good to me, and the squid as well, even in the cold weather. It sounds like a fishy flavour, but it's worked really well for me in the cold weather as well. Going on to sort of this is a question that we see all of the time. For example, people talking about, do you fine down for winter, and to basically blow out of the water straight away? The answer is no. I don't think there's any need to make things smaller or drop the hook size or the breakage strain of your material when you're fishing on the bottom. Your rigs should really, and your material should match the bait that you're fishing and the bottom that you're fishing over, regardless of the time of year. The thing is that old rumour sort of stems back to match fishing, when they're using, say, a single maggot on the hook or a single pinky or a squat, and by fining down the hook size and the line diameter, they're getting a more natural bait movement, through the water up in the levels. When we're fishing on the bottom, and our end tackle is camouflaged by the lake bed that it sits on, if we can match the colours there or thereabouts. So no, I don't think there's any reason to scale down. I think a lot of the time it just gives people something to write about in the winter when nobody's catching anything. So yeah, that's my take on it. As regard to keeping warm and comfortable on the bank, the easiest thing to go is to go unprepared, wearing trainers and turning up to a lake in the morning, walking around in the wet grass, getting your feet wet, and then immediately, because your feet wet, they're getting cold, and then you're not comfortable, and then you're wishing you're at home and you're not fishing. So a little bit of prep, if you're going to fish in the cold weather, get yourself some decent boots, some decent socks, some salopettes, a waterproof coat, and it's very easy to be warm enough when you're fishing. I fish all winter through, no matter how cold it gets. Admittedly, I don't fish as much, but I'm still doing a couple of days a week or a couple of nights a week, every single week, no matter what the weather. If it's not frozen, I'm fishing. And the key to that is keeping your feet warm, salopettes to keep the draft out your back, and a good coat. And if you've got that and a hat, then all you need to do is pull your hoodie up over your ears and you should be laughing.